corrupted gear gets more clear. And a brand new on-use effect is making its way to the legendary cloak. Great news for alts in 8.3 as the mechagon essences get a big-ass cost nerf, and oh my god, we have 2 new encrypted cinematics! The hype is real, but you need to relax and kick back for On Cooldown, your weekly WoW News show. We have a great show for you today, and before that, we launched a brand new channel called This Is Living, where it's all about everything that happens behind the cameras, life hacks, and a lot more. And we already have a video up there, so if you like us on Marcelian&Online, you'll definitely like us on the other channel. Link is in the description, go check it out after you finish watching this video.
More and more changes are coming to the gear in 8.3, especially the corrupted ones, so let's check them one at a time. The legendary cloak has an on-use effect that clears your corruption debuffs and makes you immune to them for 6 seconds. What this actually seems to be doing is to negate any detrimental effects you have from wearing corrupted gear, and from the looks of it, you will essentially use it when a dangerous effect procs at an inopportune time. This is a great addition, adding more to the cloak aside from the already high item level, corruption resistance, and sanity loss reduction. Although the effect is nice and can make for some risky plays in getting more corrupted gear, it feels like Blizzard are just adding band-aids to the Kiss Curse mechanics in 8.3, making the cloak kinda like an equalizer for bad effects. Although it's great they are balancing the system, it's still a bit weird that the cloak feels like an all-in-one deal with the bad shit solution item. Not to mention that this effect actually replaced the previous proc we had, so who knows what we will have next week. We also have changes to the corrupted weapons, specifically to the effects they provide. One thing is that the effects have tiers to most likely align with the corruption tiers they were adding as a debuff. Now the benefits will align with the amount of corruption you get. More than this, it seems that the weekly Mythic Plus chest can corrupt items in it, attaching the weapon effects to items that are not necessarily weapons. It is still unclear if this was bugged or intended. As far as I can tell, the effect itself might be unintended, but the system seems to be okay, and I actually think it's pretty neat. Maybe we won't have raid weapon effects applied to Mythic Plus chest trinket rewards, but if the chest can corrupt items, then we have more to work with when it comes to mix and matching what effects we want with how much corruption we end up getting. So far, this has also made some items have double equip bonus effect. One player, Phoenix, actually looted a Getiku, cut of skill, the OP two-hander from King's Rest with an added 35 corruption and a haste proc. Now this seems ridiculous in terms of scaling. The sword is one of the best two-handers currently in the game, not counting the raid weapons. Add one of those raid weapon effects to this sword and it could easily become best in slot for everyone, if they can use swords. A bunch of extra effects have been data mined as well. Note that these are just effects currently unassigned to items as far as we can tell. There are still a few items in the raid lootable without effects which these can pertain to, or those could just be Mythic Plus effects that can only attach to Mythic Plus rewards, weekly chest and or end of dungeon rewards. I do have one concern with this, and that being the fact that it's another layer of RNG added to the weekly chest. I guess it could be really cool to loot one of these, but with the amount of items that we have, the potential to drop from the weekly chest times the amount of effects that could or could not apply to the items make the probability of getting what you want very unlikely. More so if in this first few weeks you get something like plus 75 corruption, something we don't have the possibility or tools with which to resist or mitigate, it's most likely a dead or cleansed item. This can be a really shitty feeling that makes me think of the loot, specifically the weekly Mythic Plus chest, be something that rewards disenchant materials. This is still being tested and changed as such for now, so help us God. On a last note, the gear tokens that drop in 8.3 consisting of the gear catch-up system have dropped with different eye levels than the ones that were data mined, and now it seems we have a confirmation where the Azerite tokens drop at 410 eye level and the normal gear pieces at 415.
Ian the Blizz-Nosed Reindeer and his team of elves, night elves or blood elves? No, they're high elves, are working hard on 8.3 so all the kids that are above 20 years old can get some goodies after the Christmas season. I don't know what I'm going with this. But the point is, the essence cost from mechagon has been nerfed. And you can bet your ass this is great news, as one of the most concerning aspects of patch 8.3 was the essence grind. Don't get me wrong, it still is, but them doing this is once again proof that they have an ear for player concern and desire, and it's yet another good update on this unstoppable train of changes for Visions of N'alotha patch. The cost reduction is applied to all ranks of the mechagon essences, but we all know you're only interested on the rank 3 ones, right? Well, in that tier you have approximately 50% less requirements to buy the essence you want, while rank 2 has even more than 50%, and everybody can get their rank 1. Don't be lazy, especially because this cost nerf comes on top of them reducing the reputation requirements for ny'alotha and mechagon essences, which was announced a little bit more than a month ago. Now you must be thinking that if Shadowlands will be as alt-friendly as they kept saying at BlizzCon, then 8.3 is a good prelude to that, because you are essentially going back, truth be told, baby steps, to a much simpler method of working toward your character's power. I mean, sure, the corrupted gear is yet another new system for a new patch, but at least you won't have to worry as much for the previous systems like essences and azabite traits, because although they will still be important, their obtaining method will be far more relaxed, almost feeling like they are taking a back seat while corrupted gear takes the front spot. Last patch you had to worry about bis traits, bis benthic, bis essences, with all the grind and RNG associated with those. In 8.3 the legendary cloak and corrupted gear will be the main focus, and I love that because it's clear and it doesn't break into a million other systems. Not perfect and not 100% our desire, but at least they're doing something about all this trillion different system nonsense. You could argue that they want to simplify the game once again, make it appeal to casuals, but come on man, you cannot approve of how BFA became quote-unquote more complex due to all the systems added on top of each other, creating an artificial depth based on RNG and grind. I'm sorry, but I would rather go back to having 30 plus abilities on my bar and get better at the game that way than having to mindlessly grind and hope for all my bis. The fact that WoW Today doesn't make it clear to you what stat or trinket is bis, having to go sim yourself all the time is just wrong, or at least not your ideal way of playing an MMO. So how many negative things we can nitpick on 8.3, some of these things that they're adding are good and give me hope.
You know what else sims are good for? Your mom last night when she needed to sim my dick. Do you guys know if sims show numbers smaller? I mean, I can be very good, but I feel the accuracy.
If you have tried to do keys higher than a 10, even more so higher than 15s, you might have noticed that certain dungeons seem a bit too much. And you would be right. Specifically on tyrannical weeks, dungeons like Freehold, Toldagor, King's Rest have certain boss abilities that scale way too high when it comes to the damage they deal to you, essentially becoming one-shot abilities with keys from 17 and higher depending on your class. This, on top of other scaling issues and general affix dungeon combinations, make certain weeks and or certain dungeons in certain weeks be a major pain. I mean, this isn't anything new, but what is new is that Blizzard has started to fix some of these. Again, well, I say again, but it has been a very long time since they last changed dungeon scaling, and the main reason why I think this is an issue is because the scaling is not consistent. To make it super simple, if you are currently geared to the teeth with the best the game can offer you at this point, realistically, you have the damage to clear dungeons around 24 or maybe higher. However, your HP doesn't scale that way, or at least the damage the dungeon does to you scales way higher than the HP of the mobs and bosses. The first, hopefully, set of changes addresses Freehold with Sky Captain Crag's Azurite Powder Shot and Pistol Shot, and Eudora's Powder Shot having their damage reduced. There are websites such as justhealus.com that can show you how much damage these will do, and these are the one-shotty mechanics that you have to mitigate or evade in some way. There are more abilities in the game like these that also need addressing. On another note, we are getting Operation Mechagon as a Mythic Plus next season, and this goes beyond what we just discussed. Again, it's no secret that the dungeon is overtuned compared to the other dungeons in the game. Personally, I wouldn't have a problem with this if it was consistent. But again, it's not, and it makes you wonder, why should you bother doing something way harder for similar results from somewhere else that's not as hard? The nerfs here are abundant and most likely not the only ones until this actually comes out. Lastly, we've had an update on Titan Residuum, which we have been told the numbers will be squished. What the devs mentioned was that the current Residuum you hold will be turned into silver, while the 8.3 system will award a very tuned down version of what we have, but in concordance with this, the prices will match as well. All in all, we will be working with fewer zeros, and I hope I don't end up with 10 copper for my current Residuum value.
And speaking of value, in today's comment of the day, we have Big Boy Toma, and he said,
Your stuff is fantastic and very refreshing, guys. Keep up the good work. Earn the sub from me.
Your stuff is fantastic, Marcelian.
And your stuff is very refreshing, Flame.
And you can get the right stuff right here at MarcelianOnline. Like and subscribe.
Hot stuff, baby. How many of you played on the PTR during the quest lines and shit, and you got the awesome in-game event? You know, the quote. Well, there are quite a couple of those, and although I'm okay with the in-game short moments, what I'm really excited about are the pre-rendered and full-on cinematics that come with the new patches. And I'm expecting some masterpieces from the cinematic team, because after all, 8.3 is the grand finale of BFA. And tell me you don't want to see N'alotha fully rendered in a cinematic. I mean, come on, man. Well, my friend, as we had in 8.2.5 right now on the PTR, there have been data mined 2 encrypted cinematics, out of which one is 2 minutes 15 seconds and another one is 1 minute. Sure, they aren't as long as 8.2.5, but come on, man, the 6-minute Reckoning cinematic had its conclusion to the whole arc of BFA's so-called faction war, and you should be totally fine if the 2-minute one will be fully rendered. Jeez, it would be so epic if we see N'alotha that way. Anywho, if you're a sucker for Blizzard cinematics, like I am, then you should add a bit more excitement for 8.3, as we could almost guarantee that the N'alotha fight will not end how everybody expects it to end, and I will give you a little hint with a possible spoiler, so be warned. What I'm about to say can be a spoiler. Still here? Okay, good. So, in the raid, we are fighting N'alotha's mind and his visions, not actually the full incarnated Old God, or at least that's what it appears to be. You have to remember that N'alotha is the weakest out of all the Old Gods, and his strength lies heavily on scheming, maneuvering, and deception. So, it may very well be that one of the cinematics will portray us killing something N'alotha, but not actually him in his full state. Premise here being a good segue to us going to the Shadowlands, where the biggest threat lies, and we all know how that Sylvana said that in the end he too will serve that, referring to N'alotha. All in all, you can be damn sure that these cinematics will get us a better grip, hopefully, on how everything ends in BFA, and we kickstart our prerogatives for Shadowlands. I'm really curious on what you think about this, so speak your mind in the goddamn comments. 'Tis the season
To be jolly.
and Blizzard appears to be getting a lot of gifts for 8.3 coming forward. But first, I really want to throw a huge shout out to Fernanda, who is a really awesome illustrator and graphic designer and artist, and you should totally go check her
pretty cool
art. Yeah, it's in the description. She basically made the Raytheon head that we used on the last thumbnail, and I'll admit I was a total douche and I was totally ignorant. It didn't cross my mind to contact her and say, hey man, is it okay to use that?
Yeah.
Because, you know, but nonetheless, we got in touch and it's all good. So if you want to see some cool World of Warcrafty drawings, go check it out.
Go check it out on her official channel. The link is down below.
Nice way to fix it.
I'll fix her.
All right, you know what we didn't touch upon?
The discipline priest buff, man.
Yes. So I know you played this. I know I played this, so let's take it like this. What's your take on that shit?
I actually think that it's a good way to basically balance discipline in PvE, because you're going to probably touch about the PvP aspect. But in terms of PvE, the biggest problem that discipline was that it's doing way too much damage in concordance to how much healing it was doing. Tuning down the damage but upping the healing is how I thought it would be the best way to balance discipline.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, discipline has a real problem in Mythic Plus. It's not as good as rating, and the biggest issue for Disc is like spot healing. They don't have this. So I think this change can be, I don't know, something on a larger scale that could come to help them spot heal a little bit better, because they don't have that. There's nothing. You have Shadow Man, but that doesn't really work too efficiently when you just spam it, because you'll just run out of mana.
No. You need to be in combat. You need people to not fuck up. But Discipline is still a really good healer in Mythic Plus, man. It's like the second best healer.
Hey man, we talked about spot heals, but you know who else deserves a big ass spotlight? Our Patreons, man. You gotta believe it, man.
Oh my god, yeah.
Without you guys. Cool. Oh man, I mean, the thing is, we haven't been as motivated after the copper thing, and with all of you guys coming in and helping out, it's been such a relief. And I cannot say, I mean, words cannot describe how grateful we are for each and every one of you Patreons. It's a huge ass list now. It's gonna be impossible to spell all of your names, but you can see yourself over there. So thank you so much.
It's really cool that you support us, and we really appreciate it. It's tough times with YouTube ahead in the next couple of months. And if we can get past the next couple of months, we're gonna be Gucci for Shadowlands.
Oh yes, and but also I want to mention all of our folks from the Discord channel. We have a awesome community over there. You know yourselves. Yeah, you know yourselves. And the Twitch subs and Twitch VIPs as well, on top of all the folks that are coming to the stream and playing Mythic Plus with you.
Yeah, because
amazing.
Yeah, we're doing a lot of streams these days, guys, like 5 streams per week, both in A and EU. You might catch the specific days. You can check the schedule on our twitch.tv/MarcelianOnline, and we play raids, we play dungeons with you guys while testing all the specs that you see in our class guide videos. So maybe there's something for you, or maybe you just want to talk some WoW, which is twitch.tv/MarcelianOnline.
That being said, we want to thank you for watching the video. Hope you liked it. If you did, throw a like. If you're not subscribed to the channel, just go ahead. And also in the description, you can see our new channel, This Is Living. That being said, have a great weekend.
Take care, everybody.
Tomorrow's the stream. Don't forget. Bye.